If tangent of A equals 4/3 between pi greater than pi and less than 3 pi over 2, find sine of A minus pi over 4. So what you want to first figure out is where tangent A equals pi over 3 is at. So if you look at the unit circle where you see pi is right here, and 3 pi over 2 is right there, so you know that it's going to be in the third quadrant because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's between pi and 3 pi over 2, so it's right in the third quadrant. So you want to draw a right triangle. So A, I'm going to put as theta, is 4 over 3. So tangent in SOHCAHTOA is opposite over adjacent, so you find theta, which is supposed to be A, is 4, and adjacent is 3. So now these are supposed to be negative since they are in the third quadrant, but a negative times a negative is a positive, so that's why it's still a positive. And so you want to try and figure out the hypotenuse side, so you do 4 squared plus 3 squared equals x squared. So it's 16 plus 9 equals x squared. 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So your hypotenuse is 5. So now that you figured that out, you can now figure out that what cosine is, because to find the sum and difference formula, you're going to be using sine, and that common difference formula is sine of theta cosine of beta minus, since it says minus pi over 4, cosine of beta theta sine of beta. So that's the formula that you're going to be using. So you want to take that formula and find the sine and cosine. Since you have tangent, you have to figure out what sine and cosine is. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is 3, and hypotenuse is 5. So it would be 3/5. For sine it's opposite over hypotenuse, so that's 4/5. So now you want to take those two answers that you just got and plug it into this right here. So you can tell that A is going to be theta and B is going to be beta. So sine of theta is 4 over 5. Cosine of beta is 3 over 5 minus cosine of theta, which is 3 over 5, and then sine of beta is pi over 4, which, I'm sorry, this is pi over 4. That's pi over 4 also, because the beta is pi over 4. So then once you have all those answers, so I'll rewrite them. So it's 4 over 5 over pi over 4 minus 3 over 5 times pi over 4. So you want to find out what cosine of pi over 4 is, so on the unit circle, and cosine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. So you write 4 over 5 times square root of 2 over 2 minus, because you want to keep the same symbol, 3 over 5, and you want to find now sine of beta is pi over 4, so you want to find sine of pi over 4, so that's square root of 2 over 2. So that's square root of 2 over 2. Now, just the common denominator is 10 for each side, because 2 times 5 is 10. And now you just multiply across. And then minus 3 radical 2. Now, since these are both the same radical, you can take them apart. So when you put them together, it'll be like this. So then your answer will just be 4 minus 3, that's 1, so your answer will be radical 2 over 10.